the TeamClearCoat podcast. We're two friends finally doing something about our obsession with cars.
We're probably not doing it well, but it should be fun, and we might actually learn something along the way. I'm Dave.
And I'm Ian, and this is our show.
Ian?
Hello, Dave.
What's wrong?
I think you know what's wrong. What is he doing here?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Peter.
Peedah. Thank you.
You seem to, your summer romance, your Craigslist meetup, this fling of yours, this hussy, this home wrecker over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have been spending a lot of time together, huh?
Well, he has
Here and there.
he has some of my money. I have one of his cars.
Yeah.
That's true. That's how it happened.
Go on.
Tell the people.
Explain to the people what's happening here.
Ladies and
We'll see whose side they take.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave. And my
Ian.
and my co-host that is choking on beer
I was committed to that bit.
is
Sorry.
Ian. And in the blanket fort with us tonight, we have Peedah.
Hello. My name is Peedah. I sold Dave the Viggen that he now owns.
He did.
And can't get
I'm
tonight.
happy for him, and I also feel bad for him. No.
So you two met the way that all Saab owners meet,
Right.
on Craigslist,
Yes.
exchanging parts and or cars.
Not on the misconnections
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
side of Craigslist. at all.
essentially, that's what it is for Saab owners, is a misconnections. It might as well be.
Right.
Misconnections,
Always missed.
singles,
Yeah.
always missed.
Yeah.
You missed the connection because your clutch cable snapped,
Right.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
that sort of thing.
I like that. I couldn't make the scheduled date because Saab. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's happened to me before. It's probably happened to all of us.
Yeah.
So we have 3 Saab owners in one room. My house is going to freaking burn down right
Oh
now.
God,
Yeah.
we're really tempting fate, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. So Peedah sold me the Viggen.
Can we explain to people why we're calling him a piece of flatbread?
Peedah?
Yeah.
P-I-T-A?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Tell the folks where you're from, Peedah.
Yeah, I'm from Maine. I moved out to Colorado about 4 years ago. Bought the Viggen that Dave now owns in 2010, and drove it as my daily. Did everything, throughout my last 8 years with it until this past spring, and sold it to Dave. I live up in the mountains in Vail, and so he kind of came up, took a look at the car, test drove it. That was a good time. We talked very specific Saab Cork stories, which is pretty nerdy and entertaining.
It's that shared commiseration. It's like AA, where we all talk about reaching rock bottom.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I never thought I would meet somebody that would know these obscure things as well.
So, like, when I was test driving a Saab, I noticed that I didn't have any sound from the turn signals. And I said, oh, yours has stealth mode as well, because Dusty Rusty did, too.
Right.
Yeah, where the chime
a
in the
relay or
SID,
something?
the chime in the SID, the solder points get cold. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then so you don't have any internal sounds anymore.
No more TikTok in the corners.
Yeah. Yep.
This is gonna be.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's peaceful.
It was like the oral equivalent
of Night Panel.
of night
Of
panel
night
or
panel.
turning your gauges dim.
Yeah, the dimmer
Yeah.
switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you not only sold Dave the Saab, but you still have a few other cars, right? So what's your current garage?
My current garage is extensive for someone who lives at the place they work at and does not need to commute. No, I guess I really enjoy tinkering around with cars. I have a 95 E36 M3 that was my uncle's car for I think 8 or 10 years. There's a picture of it.
Yeah, we have a picture of that
Coming up,
right there. Yeah. Look at that.
Probably
That's
the
gorgeous.
best picture I have of it. So was kind of in the family for a while. I eventually started working on that for my uncle a little bit. I initially started driving it when I was 17 in high school, I learned how to drive stick on it,
That's awesome.
and he just kind of plunked it in my lap. He's like, "Oh yeah, you can keep it for a week. I know where you live. I'll come switch the cars out, and we'll go from there." And then long story short, I would call him at the end of the week, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm not worried about it." And then I had it for 2 months right off the bat when I was, I think, junior in high school.
Wow, that's a cool car for a junior in high school.
Oh my god, it was.
How are you still alive?
It was incredible, and then it just pretty much ruined other cars from then on.
Right.
How could you
for me
drive a Honda Accord after that?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So that's eventually he called me, wanted to let the car go, but didn't want to let it go, so he sold it to me for ridiculously low price. So I ended up taking it, driving it for a few years in Maine, then put it away, moved out to Colorado. It just hung out in my grandma's garage for 3 years, and then not this past summer, but the summer before, I went home for a week, kind of broke it out, and then a friend helped me drive it out, and I've just been working on kind of restoring it and going through everything since I've gotten it here. I've done a lot of work on it. It's been really fun, and the roads through Colorado are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So it's been a blast.
Yeah. You've done a lot of work to it, a lot of upgrades.
A lot of work.
You sent me panic pictures of the entire rear subframe out of it.
Yep. Did
Yeah.
that. Hammered out and pressed out, cut out, whatever, worked on a lot of bushings. Had a rear subframe, one of the 4 corners of the subframe where it attaches was not fully connected, so I had to go through and couldn't get it aligned. It would just keep changing. So
Is it like main rust sort of things, or
not so much. This one doesn't have too much rust on it. My uncle put it away every winter.
Oh, really?
Took pretty good care of it. Didn't daily drive it.
Doesn't have much rust, huh?
20,000 miles through Maine winters. Sorry, Dave.
Sure.
Yeah, it was just kind of a funky one with the subframe issue there, but I got that all squared away this summer and drove it around towards the end of the summer, early fall, through the state. It was super, super fun.
Nice.
Now I'm just working on interior stuff. So
Yeah. It's a great color. I love the color purple.
yeah, the dark purple.
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I drove it. It's fantastic. It's just, it feels like a Lotus Elise that I could fit in.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely fit in. Yeah.
It has the window switches in the right place,
Yeah.
the
It
middle,
does.
where Jesus intended.
So you rode in my car on the way over here.
Yes.
We'll get to where we were in a second, but
Mhm.
we were talking, and I really think that my car and your car at High Plain at the track would be
That'd be a fun day.
it'd be a fun
Yeah.
day. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think they'd probably be pretty close.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I'm guessing my car is like got a little bit more aggressive tires. You would probably
Mhm.
be a lot faster in the corners, but I think on power they're probably pretty similar.
Yeah, power's similar. They're both naturally aspirated
Yeah.
6s.
Yeah.
Really similar weight we were
Yeah,
talking about.
it'd be close. I
It'd
think.
be pretty fun. Yeah.
We'll have to do that.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
That'd
I
be
think
great.
like your old man sedan too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just want to be like the Charlie of the group, like wild card. Just show up like halfway through a straightaway,
Yeah.
wild card,
Yeah.
with my seat heaters all the way up, and yeah,
Your seat coolers. with
uh
them,
huh,
yeah.
yeah, just blasting classical music out the window. Yeah.
Such a dork. All right. Okay, so that's one car. What's
that's
the
number
other
one.
thing you have?
Yeah.
Number 2 is 2002 E39 M5, which has been my dream car for a long time.
Super awesome.
Everyone's dream car, right?
Right, right. So I sprung for that last. It's kind of a black, really, really dark blue, actually. Yeah, that one's a good example, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly it. So yeah, I got that last February from LA. That's in pretty good shape. Hasn't been really modded out or anything like that. Everything's OEM, and I think it's got 96 on it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, but honestly, it's like the suspension kind of needs a revamp. It needs some other things. I've really been focusing on the M3 stuff. It's a little bit much at this point
Right.
to be going down the rabbit hole with 2 M cars like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's thoughts there.
Yeah.
So
Believe me, I feel your pain on that one.
well,
Yeah.
it's completely self-inflicted, but yeah, we'll see where it goes with that. I'm not sure if I'm 100% on keeping it long term at this point, just with things going on in my life, and future things. So we'll see. But that thing's incredible. I would say it's the perfect I-70 to DIA airport shuttle.
Right?
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Um,
The executive
on the
business
highway.
machine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's-
had you driven one before you bought it?
I had test driven a 540i of the same year
Okay.
in Denver,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
and I had considered buying that because it was a great deal, and but kind of held, and obviously sprung for the M5 when I could instead, because that's what I would always end up wanting to have done.
Right.
So
Right. So I mean, what were your after you actually bought it and you drove it? Like, what were was there anything that surprised you about it or anything? Because you had such a long history with the M3, you kind of knew what that was from jump.
Right. Yeah, totally. Definitely an M car. Definitely has all the awesome characteristics of a sports car and great engine. The handling wasn't. I guess that would surprise me. Just the size and weight. The handling. It's a little tired out. Being whatever 96,000 miles on it without a suspension revamp yet. It's with a heavier car like that, you're ready to do that at that point. So I guess that was a little disappointing, because I'm like, okay, that's what's going to be coming up.
Right.
But once you get to know the car, like any car, where it really shines and kind of how to use it better.
The settings to place it in.
Exactly. And it's just totally at home on the road. It's very similar to your old man sedan. Just get in it, blast down the highway,
Point and shoot.
Yeah, comfortable, spacious.
Yeah.
Bring people with you.
Yeah.
I've like DD'd a half an hour away with it a few times.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So no, that's been really, really fun, and yeah,
Awesome.
we'll see where I go with it. But
And
Yeah.
then you have a third car
I have
because
a-
you live in Vale, and
I have
neither
a third
of
car
these.
that I'm avoiding mentioning because it's not very exciting, and it's just a total dadmobile. So yeah, I have, for a couple friends, I've bought and fixed up and sold them Honda Pilots. So now this it's like an 03.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want any of the 2010 stuff.
Any of the new stuff. Yeah. We want to go vintage pleated
03 to 05.
pleated khaki
Well,
Honda
so-
Pilot.
So the story behind the Pilots is, I picked one up really cheap. I've always kind of wanted to flip a car and make a little money on the side like that. Try to buy something low, sell it for a little more, fix a few things up, not invest a ton of time into it. And so the Pilots, they're 4-wheel drive. They have good clearance, so people really like them up in the mountains. So buying them out of Denver is perfect. It's kind of the family car that will get dumped pretty cheaply.
Over and over and over. Like,
Oh, yeah.
There's a complete ecosystem for people going Honda Pilot to Honda Pilot to Honda Pilot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So now this is the 4th one I've bought. It's black.
It has a VTEC tuning sticker
has a
on the back.
VTEC
I was
tuning
going to take that
system.
off before you and Ian got here.
Oh, it's awesome. Don't do that to me. So funny story about that sticker. When I bought it from the previous owner, I looked at him and I asked him, I was like, oh, VTEC tuning. I was like, so that means it's another 20 horsepower faster than the normal ones, right? And it was just like crickets. He didn't really get it. And then I was like, I'm
Okay.
just making a joke.
Was it like the previous owner before him had put it on there?
Yeah, it wasn't him. I was
Yeah.
just kind of pulling his leg.
Yeah.
It was just funny. I don't know.
That's so funny.
But yeah, clearly the original owner had put some cheesy exhaust tips on it.
Yeah.
Put some horribly
Chrome wheels.
donk wheels, which I've since gotten rid of. Went to the junkyard, got some original wheels. Feel a lot better about myself.
So do the pleated khakis just show up in the back, or do you have to go into Costco to get them? And is Steve Winwood just on all the radio presets?
Yeah.
Or did you have to set like 3 out of 6 of them?
Yeah. No, it's funny.
Well,
That
I
is
mean, you're
batting hard.
It is, but
It is.
and
But-
you said it's not exciting, but I'm going to tell you why it is exciting, because it allows you, that car allows you to have 2 BMW
Insane.
M cars
Yeah.
in Vale,
It enables you.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that
Yeah.
makes it an exciting car.
Yeah.
So I guess the downside to my whole car quiver situation is that parking in Vale is difficult. So
Right.
I have a second spot that I kind of rent from a guy who doesn't have a car, and
Because Vale.
because
Yeah.
of Vale, it's just tight. So that's always a little bit of a juggle, and I really need to sell something right now.
How do you not have a
for the
car in
winter.
Vale?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. All right.
Mhm.
We'll skip
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah. So.
We'll skip. We'll go past it. Go past it. Go
But
past
no,
it.
it's very great for me to use in the winter. It's
Yeah.
4-wheel drive. I put some all-terrain tires on it. I like to go mountain biking and hiking, so it's a great trailhead car for fire roads. So
Absolutely. It's comfortable.
it's comfortable. It has a Honda 6-cylinder, so
Yeah.
that's good to go.
The suspension's easy to work on.
Yeah, very easy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had done one of the ones I fixed up and sold. I did the, front struts and rear shocks in like 4 hours. It's really easy.
Nice.
Hmm.
Nice. That's an
Pretty
ideal car to turn over. Easy to find the parts. You're going to go
Yeah.
into AutoZone and get the right thing.
Right.
Unlike a Viggen or an R32 owner.
Yeah, the Viggen was. Yeah. Yep, I lived that.
So are these cars, are they like less desirable? Because I know like some of the like Toyota Tundras will never
Oh,
fall
yeah.
below like $9,000. Like they have
Yeah,
a
so-
solid
Yeah,
floor.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I love Toyota 4Runners and Tacomas and
Mhm.
Tundras and stuff. But yeah, like I was thinking about flipping those, but the cost, they just hold their value so well.
It's crazy.
I'm
Right?
I'm
And
not-
are they that much better than the Hondas?
The longevity of them is better.
Oh, okay.
They're definitely beefier, more truck kind of based components.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But this is really halfway between. It's a lot of the pilots, a lot of their suspension components are, a fair bit beefier than, your average Subaru that you see up here in the mountains. And
right.
it's pretty tall. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
that's nice.
So let's talk about the Viggen.
We're diving in.
Yeah.
All right.
So
This, by the way, isn't a conversation anymore. This is now a confrontation.
yeah. I need a
Yeah.
light to shine directly into
I'm
your
wondering what you found that I have to sheepishly explain myself about.
eyes. So before you purchased the Viggen, like what led up to purchasing a Viggen? What led up to you becoming one of the Saab owners?
Sure.
And how soon do you plan on purchasing your next Saab? Going to 4 vehicles. Do you want to buy the
know.
Viggen back? From me? No, I'm just.
what Saab would I buy?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
You want to buy mine? You can have mine. Don't. It's terrible.
Yeah. What led up to it?
So I guess got into cars via my uncle in the M3 in high school, and so I would spend time in the library looking around, researching cars from the 90s and
Sure.
2000s to see what's out there, what could I maybe get, and then I learned about the Viggens, and I just thought they looked really neat and that
Yeah.
they're super unique, and so I kind of fell in love with the idea of one to the point that I was like, I'll go to college, graduate, get a job, and get a Viggen. Like, that's my dream car.
Okay.
And so, 2 years into college, I'm just kind of trolling around Craigslist in Maine, and a pretty quiet posting with no pictures, just one sentence. Saab 9.3 Viggen came up, 104,000 miles. The price was really cheap. I don't know if I should
You
say
should.
that to Dave.
You
but
should.
I should. Yeah,
Yeah.
$5,000
Okay. Yeah.
with 104 on it.
Wow.
Yep. Clean.
Wow.
Crazy.
Clean 1 Yeah, it was crazy. So, I was in school.
Right.
Did not have the funds to go just buy it.
Right.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go check it out.
This is it.
So I emailed the guy. He emails me back and set up a time to go check it out. And he was super nice. He had 3 or 4 cars. His wife was like, you need to get rid of it, and he
Okay.
kept it in his barn in Maine. I think he drove it a little bit in the winter. So he started the damage. He initiated. I took it farther for sure. But yeah, I went and drove it. It was great. It was really clean, and so I figured out just through family members lent me some money for a year, and I paid them back and got it, and yeah, it was awesome. It was really exciting. And then the thing about finishing school and buying the Viggen, I did 2 years of college, did not finish, started doing boat building work, and so I ended up getting the Viggen, and then driving it, to do boat building work through the coast of Maine and ski trips, everything. Drove it out here. This picture here is when my girlfriend and I left from Maine with it packed to the ceiling, just 2-door Viggen.
Yeah.
All of our life's belongings packed into it. So the roof rack was pretty awesome. We had...
it's like having a tough shed on your roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had 2 sets of skis, 2 bikes, and there's actually 2 hockey sticks clamped into the ski rack too.
Okay.
Because Maine.
Right. Yep.
Right.
So that's my folks' driveway. There's a pond out front, which is pretty neat. But yeah, you can see there's I think a bath mat in the window
I
on
like
the
that.
side, and the 2 front seats were empty, and then the rest was just stuffed to the gills, which was impressive. Like that car has really impressive cargo space.
I once fit 22 bags of mulch in Dusty Rusty.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we headed out 2,200 miles out to Colorado with it.
No issues on the way?
No issues.
Really?
Go on.
Yep. So that was pretty awesome. I guess I think we got to Nebraska or something, and all of a sudden, it was early November, all of a sudden it got really cold, super windy, got down to about 5 degrees.
Okay. They don't mess around out there.
The wind was just ripping on the plains. So we just kind of had to bail, find a hotel, and the bikes were rocking around, and really, I remember the passenger door seals were just screaming, and air was just coming right through. I had never seen that with that car.
Yeah.
I-80 through Nebraska is just miserable, just all around.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So, but no, it did great. And then living in Vail, driving it up and over the mountains, it's incredible up over the mountain passes.
Yeah.
Just the engine and transmission really blew me away how well it does up here at elevation.
It's so fantastic. It 2 liters in a turbo, and any hill is yours.
Yeah, just 5th gear, just womp right up and over if you want.
Yeah.
Super pleasure owning that car.
I want to bring you back. I want to bring us back to something that you said right at the very beginning of that story.
Okay.
Which I think really sums up the Saab ownership experience, which was I fell in love with the idea of a Saab.
There you go.
Because it so often outpaces the reality of a Saab.
You're correct.
The idea of the Saab is always way better.
It is a brand that lived on sales of ideas and delivered shortage of expectations.
Right. First of all, ideas are free.
Right.
So you don't have to replace things on an idea.
Like a direct ignition cassette for your idea.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, I had really incredible reliability from 104 to about 195.
Okay.
I did suspension during that, a few other normal punch list things during that time, but it wasn't until 195 the clutch went out, another DIC went, the fuel pump went out.
Yep.
And it just didn't want to go to 200.
Yep.
For that 1 year.
Yeah.
But, leading up to that, it was super reliable.
Yeah. AC compressor went out on you.
That went out.
Seized up.
When I went to
took
go
the fan belt.
pick my parents up from the airport. I was really close to the airport, and then it was just screaming. And
Hot day.
I had to pull over. No, I don't think it was in the fall. It wasn't super hot, so
well, that's lucky then.
But yeah, I just had to bail. They had to get a rental car. I ended up getting to an O'Reilly's, short belting it. I think the short belt's still on it.
Yep,
Yeah.
certainly is, and it will stay that way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, bypassed the AC, and I kept rolling. So
yeah,
that was probably my most successful roadside fix.
Nice.
I just happened to be within 2 miles of in O'Reilly's, and
Nice.
There you go.
my buddy looked up the belt number and sent it to me, and
Yeah, and you just like jogged
half
there.
an hour later, good to go.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, you got your impromptu.
Stress my folks out a little bit. 'cause
Sure,
they just
sure.
landed, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That was your impromptu 5K that you had to run.
Yes. Yeah.
Sobs are good about forcing fitness onto you.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Want to lose weight by a sob, you'll be running a lot.
It's true. We're
Mhm.
pushing.
Yeah.
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 mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I saw Peedah's listing on Craigslist for the Saab, and like, I had in my mind that a blue 3-door, Saab Viggen is the absolute peak of Saab.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that is it. Like everything I did to Dusty Rusty was to try to make it be like a Viggen.
Mhm.
I missed miserably.
It was
Yeah.
the Torquester that drew you wide of the mark. It just pulled you right off the side.
Kept pulling, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the comparison between the two, between Dusty Rusty and the Viggen, it's so night and day. Dusty Rusty
Yeah.
was just like SpongeBob SquarePants wrapped in like a mountain lion.
It's very silly
Yeah.
until it tried to kill you.
Right.
It
And
sounded pretty entertaining.
it was the best. It was the
Yeah.
best.
Entertaining is the diplomatic
Yeah.
word for it, for sure.
Yeah.
The nicest way of putting it.
Yeah. A hoot to daily drive. But the Viggen is so much more refined and businesslike.
Yeah.
But it's still a little weird and crazy.
Sure,
Right? It
sure.
still has that dash of
Yep.
wild card,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does deliver its power in a very entertaining way. I will say that. It's fun.
Mhm.
Dusty Rusty was all about second gear pulls. The Viggen is all about third gear pulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Which
that-
are way more dangerous.
Third gear has legs. On
Yeah.
the
You can
Viggen.
get to 90. Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Uh-huh.
Allegedly.
proven.
Yeah. Across I-80.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ian was disappointed that I wasn't going to turn it into just a completely gutted out track car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But my idea
Well, I'm
was-
not. Ian.
I know. Well, I saw it because the body needs a little work, and I was
Yeah,
like,
it
oh, this is a
does.
track car candidate.
Right.
But I think everything is a track car candidate. Too, so
Yeah.
like that's
True.
That's part
His
of the
pilot
problem.
is a
the
track car.
pilot.
Let's do it.
Yep.
It'd be entertaining.
Strip it out.
Yeah.
We did a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I mean, you just
Yeah.
make your own apexes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you miss
The
a turn, it
curbs.
doesn't matter. You are
Yeah.
the turn now.
The curbs do not matter. You take so much curb. You just
Yeah.
put like two wheels over the side of the curb, and that's your new
Keep on
apex.
trucking.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, terrible. It's awful, but like it's
I bet.
fun.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, several things sold me on the Viggen.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah. Walk me through your thought process there.
Absolutely. It was.
Still a little lost on that. No.
Well, as a Viggen.
Like as you're accepting the money, you're like, what the fuck is this guy thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Good luck.
I'll never see you again.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on me. Yeah.
So
I like to think too that you're here just 100% out of guilt.
Yeah.
Were you raised Catholic by
Okay.
chance?
Yeah. No.
So I could tell instantly that Peter was attached to the car. Like I could tell that he had invested in it. The amount of work that he put into it, his knowledge of Sobs, instantly came across. Right.
Mhm.
So there's instant respect right there. Boom. Like that's just starting. And then
Well, it's a 20-year-old car.
yeah.
It's a 20-year-old Saab, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no, like very few people own those on accident at this point.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not like a handed down Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those days are. I mean, if they exist,
Right.
they're not long for this world.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I could tell the work that he put into it, and he made the exact right upgrades. Like the exact. I would not do anything different when it came to upgrades.
Yeah.
Stage 1 tune, just enough to round everything out and make use of the mods.
Right.
The genuine Saab downpipe,
Mm-hmm.
right? That I may need to replace if the catalytic converter's
Yeah.
done.
You gotta just switch that out for your emissions tests.
Yeah, I might.
Mhm.
The suspension,
'Cause it's nice.
the steering rack clamp and brace,
Mm-hmm.
like all of that, like everything was exactly what should have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
the perfect Saab. The perfect Saab
Mm-hmm.
was just handed to me, by a guy that hand rebuilt the CV boots. Like,
I had some help with that from my good old Mena buddies, Sam and Kenny, when they came through on their motorcycles. But yeah, we, what is it? The axle shaft links are different.
Yeah.
So
then the standard, of course, it has beefier half shafts.
Right. It's got 9.5.
But why are the lengths different?
So it's the same diameter as the 9.5 shafts, but then the length is a little shorter, I think.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
And that was strictly specific to the Viggen,
Just for the Viggen.
and you can't find them.
How did
They
they
don't
run
sell
out of
them.
money? It's a mystery.
Right? Right?
But yeah, we kind of read up on it and figured out that we could go buy the 9.5, CV shaft assembly with both joints, and then pull the joints apart and
Make
swap
them
them onto
shorter.
and that was incredible to get apart. I think we filled the whole cup of one of the CV joints with dry ice.
Okay.
And had to just hammer it. Before that we had it hooked between two trees with a come along,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't come free.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Guess what I get
I
to
w-
do
I
in
wouldn't
another 30,000 miles?
Why didn't you just cut them and have someone weld them back together?
It wouldn't have been balanced.
I don't know. I just wouldn't be comfortable going that route with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, my buddies,
I just hack shit. Whatever.
we figured it out. My buddies, props to them.
Dry ice. This does bear mentioning. There is a specific term that Peter uses for his friends in Maine.
What's that?
Mainers.
Menace.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
should you hear that, the translation is people from Maine.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So the Viggen, like I knew that I was going to be the one that would put the energy into the Viggen to keep it running, pass emissions, direct eye
Come on,
contact.
We can go register it back up in Vail where there's no emissions if you want.
I appreciate that. I'll probably take
We
you
could
up on
probably work something out.
that.
With that.
Yeah. Your address is a hotel in Vail.
Right,
Yeah.
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 Why am I being audited by the IRS? But my goal was to not was just to keep it at what I view its best, right? Like the peak of where it is, get the body sorted out, and just keep like it is the perfect fun car. It's the perfect second or third car.
Right. Right.
And that's all I ever want out of it. That's all I'm gonna get. Yeah.
No, I totally respected that and appreciate passing the torch to you in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few other people that were inquiring,
Sure.
just wanting to snatch it up, and I could tell just
Gonna run it into the ground.
run into the ground and whatever. But I think it being such a sentimental car ownership experience for me, I was pumped to give it to you and see it continue.
I have to say, I have a lot of eyes on me when it comes to the Viggen. So not only the first time Peter came over, of course he wanted to see it,
Right.
but
Right.
when his sister came over and when his girlfriend came over, both of them wanted to see it as well.
Yeah, you got people checking up on you.
It's just been a big plot to infiltrate Dave's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's
I'll give
the
you your
thing.
money later.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to come back. I want to come back to whatever this is
Okay.
later.
Sure.
But first I want to do an FMK cars.
You don't need to. Yeah.
Oh, no, we do. We need to.
All right.
We need to explore it deep.
Peter, you're not the only SOP enthusiast I've met and text regularly with on Craigslist.
Yeah.
It's becoming a problem.
That's on
so,
him.
So I want to dig. Well, no, I know what his issues are. I want to see how it's affecting other people. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But first, I want to do an FMK cars.
Sure.
FMK Cars is a game that Ian and Dave and now Peedah play on the Team ClearCoat podcast. It's based on the classic game Fuck, Marry, Kill, but instead of playing it with people like gross people do, we play it with cars because we're not gross and we're nice. F means you drive it for a day, hit it and quit it. M means you marry it, you put a ring on it, it's your daily driver. K means you crush it, you send it to the crusher immediately. Boo.
Thank you very much, Dave. All
You're
right.
welcome.
So we're going to take a break
From
from
Viggen Chat.
From Viggen Chat.
That's
And this
probably
is
good for everybody.
This is called
Welcome to Viggen Cast.
Yeah.
Party Like It's a 1999 Sports Sedan Comparison. So not at all away from the Viggen. This is so Car and Driver did a comparison with the Viggen and 3 other cars. So I added a twist to this. I'm hoping didn't choose the same because I think
you're perfect.
Okay,
you're
all right.
perfect. Yeah,
because I
I have
Dave
another one for you after this.
may have done
Cool.
something similar. All right. So this is Car and Driver did the thing. So we're gonna do the other cars in that test. It was a 4-way test in 1999, and also it's paired. Each car is paired with a chart-topping single from that year, and that is the only thing that plays in the car, and you cannot turn it off.
Okay.
All right. So whenever you're in the car, this is the song you hear. All right. The first one is BMW M3, car you're very familiar with.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you will be listening to "Believe" by Cher.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna.
All right.
That's
Was
gonna-
that is that
gonna
an
get
E?
old.
So
That's
that's
an
the first.
E46.
E36.
E36. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The next one is the Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG, and you will get "Baby One More Time" by the Britney Spears.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
The "Hit Me Baby,
Zoinks.
Hit
Yeah.
Me Baby One More Time" by the Britney Spears.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I think that's how the kids say it.
I like the way the C43 looks.
I do too.
Yeah.
And then the last one is
Super
the
unassuming.
Yeah. Right.
the last one is the Audi S4, which is this is the twin turbo.
This is the B5.
The 2.7.
Yeah.
So it will definitely break on you.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
the
those
only car less reliable than
Yeah,
the Saab in this.
I definitely had looked around at those a little bit, and yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful
stay
with
away.
those. The single you get though, I think is the best song on this list. "No Scrubs" by the TLC.
That's a good
Okay.
one.
All right.
Yeah. What would you do, Peedah?
Are you gonna do an engine out turbo replacement, but get to listen to "No Scrubs"?
Let's see.
Are you going to be very cute and unassuming with the
Mhm.
Mercedes-Benz and Britney Spears "Hit Me One More Time"?
I will say
That's a tough.
I will
combo.
say a C43
That's a
AMG
tough
rolling
combo.
up with Britney Spears just blasting out of it would be hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it certainly would.
Yeah. Let's see. I'd probably do the Mercedes for a day.
Okay. All right.
I'll be biased to my own opinion. Put up with Cher. Marry the M3.
It was "Believe," right?
Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you believe? Like with the auto tune,
Like the auto tune.
Yeah.
Early
Yeah.
days auto
Yeah.
tune.
Yep.
Brave
Yeah.
choice, my
I guess
friend.
we'll go with that, and then
You
yeah,
gotta
So you're
kill
gonna
the
crush
Audi.
the Audi, huh?
crush the Audi.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What would you do in that?
I would marry the Mercedes and
Okay.
Britney Spears, and I just dig in, and then I would probably F the BMW.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I'd marry the Audi,
Yeah.
crush the Mercedes, and drive the BMW for
That's
a day.
perfectly on
So-
brand for you.
I know it is.
And then I would get text messages every 4 days. Can I borrow your engine hoist?
Yeah. I blew a turbo again.
Yeah.
No.
You would blow turbos at the rate I blew clutch cables in
Yeah.
Dusty Rusty.
I thought that sentence was going
Mhm.
someplace totally different.
It wasn't, Ian.
You blow. Never mind, I won't do it. There was gonna be a joke about Craigslist people and Saabs.
Peedah, I have another FMK car for you. The
All right.
plot of this one is that I bought the Viggen from you.
Sure.
There were other competing cars from 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what could have been. If you had bought this car instead of the Viggen, then I would
you would end up
eventually
with
own
it.
it.
Okay.
So you're deciding for both of us.
Well, hold on a second.
Ah.
Hold on. So I like that the premise of this is essentially that you
it comes
two
through me.
were destined to be together. That's the premise of this, just so we're all clear.
He's in the blanket fort right now, Ian.
Yep.
Not that I wanted a Saab.
You bought my car and coaxed me down here.
Yep.
Okay, continue.
Exactly. I just threw money at you. Yeah.
Continue with your star-crossed lover, please.
so the thing is that the Viggen is an odd car, right? It's a little bit left of center, right?
Super unique.
Right. And so I feel like these other cars from 1999 kind of embody a little bit of that as well. Okay? So first up is the Mercedes-Benz, not the CL, but the CLK.
Oh, I love this car.
1999 CLK. All right?
Yes.
So one of those. The coupe, of course. These are all coupes.
Which engine are you giving him?
The 43. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So then next, I'm going to give myself, I guess, the 1999 VW Golf GTI GLX. Is that it, Ian? GLX. That the hot Golf from the 1999. Yes, the GTI GLX. Okay.
All right.
Then lastly, we're gonna go weird. What's a weird car from 1999?
I don't know, like a Peugeot or something.
BMW. These are all domestic, U.S. domestic. M Coupe.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's super cool.
So you want the 01.
Well, I want the 01, but I apparently
it's
am going to
90s.
have an. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever driven one of those?
No.
Yeah.
I've definitely looked at them.
You, Ian? The clown shoe?
I never have. No, I've always wanted to.
Little bread wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what car would you buy that you would eventually sell to me?
That's a tough one because the Mercedes is like right up your alley.
It completely is.
I also want a Well Actually.
Okay.
I'm sorry to Well Actually. But
Are you?
I am. I really am. I hate doing it. But by then they had the 55. It was
okay.
Yeah, the CLK 55
Okay.
was already available. It looks like. I think.
But did they? But they had the 40.
It was a 430.
Yeah. They had the CLK 430.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
I didn't want to go
Mhm.
crazier
Okay,
than that
okay.
and blow it out. Yeah,
Mhm.
because of course we all want the 55.
Well, yeah, that thing's
Yeah.
awesome. I've driven one of those. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I would, if it were me, I would probably end up buying the M Coupe
Okay.
because I've always found them kind of hilarious.
Yeah. That's a car that has aged really well, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
And like the serious haunches in the back are pretty awesome.
They're ridiculous.
And I love the dials on the
Yeah.
interior, like those like they had the
Right,
aluminum bezels all over the place. They're so
right.
cool.
Yeah, it was really unique to that car for
Mhm.
BMW then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've totally looked at those. And then the later years of them, they made it with the E46 M3 engine. So that'd be pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with that.
Okay. So I would eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what would you do for a day? You said the Mercedes for a day?
Probably the Mercedes.
Yeah. And the VW had no traction. Have you ever thought about a VW
I guess it's been more recent
to
'cause
sell to me?
my sister has a Golf TDI.
I'm a
same year
diesel
as yours.
mechanic now.
A TDI, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
yeah,
a
that's
diesel
right.
mechanic.
He did the glow plugs on for her while she came through. Thank you, Dave.
No problem.
Appreciate that.
I'm a diesel mechanic.
It
Ian.
took the extended family, to fix her all up before she went back to
Yeah.
Wyoming.
Well, it's a Volkswagen.
So we had to call you in.
Yeah, you had to call in A string, B string, C string,
Yeah.
D string.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. If you get a call, if he texts you, then his sister
Oh.
is in some bad shape.
That's
Yeah.
like when I was in the Air Force and we had to train with bayonets and we're like, come on. Like
Yeah.
if you're telling us to fix bayonets, like it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you're too far gone at that point.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know. No, I mean, despite saying I would crush the Golf, your R32 is pretty neat.
Yeah.
They have a way of driving that's pretty entertaining.
Yeah. And completely theirs.
Unique. Yeah, totally unique to the GTI and
Yeah.
or the Golf, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're great
Mhm.
mountain cars because they're especially the all-wheel drive ones because they're
Yeah.
or the R32 is because it's an amazing like 8/10 car.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it
Safe
only-
on public roads driving.
Right. And then once
Yeah.
you go past that, like it does understeer and all the things that like
Sure.
like serious drivers complain
Yeah.
about. But at 8/10,
Because
it's great. It's awesome.
The Viggen's kind of that way too.
Yeah.
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 I love a good 8/10 car.
For sure. No.
You know? Because usually it's usually a bad 10/10 car because it understeers at the limit or whatever.
Sure.
Mhm.
So it makes it more. Sometimes it makes it more approachable.
Right.
Where you can.
Yeah.
You can feel comfortable pushing a little
Yeah.
bit past
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that way with the Viggen. I don't feel that way with the Beamers.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, because they'll bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once
Like
you're
that-
at the limit, you're
that limit's
there.
farther, and
Yeah.
it's a little more serious.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. So what was your thoughts then?
I would love to own a clown shoe at some point. I don't know if I would ever own any BMW other than that.
If it was the clown shoe versus a 55 COK 55 AMG as a daily driver, which one would you pick?
Yeah, that thing's just hilarious.
Yeah, I might take the clown shoe, Ian.
Really? That's surprising to me.
I know, because I think if I wanted the 55 in anything, it'd be the wagon.
Okay.
And I think that this is just weird enough.
I love that COK,
Yeah.
that body style.
Right?
COK.
Just a big ass coupe, right?
Oh, it's so great. I just saw on Bring a Trailer. There was a that went up today, a Euro spec 635 CSI.
Yeah. Okay.
I want one of those cars so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had a new 5-speed in it.
Nice.
I want one.
I don't know. The Mercedes, like, I would love to have the wagon. Like, I think of the Mercedes like I think of the Cadillac. Like, I only want the CTSV wagon.
Right.
I only want like the AMG
You
wagon.
only want the
Yeah.
super desirable
Yeah.
one that's impossible to find.
Exactly. But I really want to get back to what you were saying about driving an 8/10 car, because
Mhm.
like I think that just sums up such a great thing, like, because you think about the quantity of times that you have in your life to enjoy the car the most, right?
Yeah.
We only have a fixed number of times to have fun with our cars, right?
This is taking a dark turn.
It is
Very fatalistic turn.
We're all rotting husks, Ian. Yeah. But like, just maximizing the amount of fun that you can have, like, on a day-to-day basis with that car. Like, I don't know. I really like that. And I just, it continues to further the argument that we always make, where just because something might be the best on paper doesn't mean it's the best for you.
Right.
And I think the Viggen embodies that. I think your R32 embodies that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I think your M5 embodies most of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know? Especially in slightly clapped fashion, right? Where you know some
man.
stuff needs to be fixed on it, so you won't go.
Found out quick. Yeah. I drove it up Guanala Pass. My buddy's got a 911, like a 91 964 convertible.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Chris, right? Very
Chris.
nice, very nice guy. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
The Chowitzer,
yeah.
as we call him, Chris Howe. Chow.
Ciao. Yep.
Had to explain that, I guess. But no, we drove up Guanala Pass.
Yeah.
And the M5's got some, mismatched branded, pretty poor quality all seasons on it.
There
that's
we go.
always
What it came
confidence
with.
inspiring.
Yeah, and then it's 400 horsepower
Oh,
to
that's
the rear
all.
wheels
Yeah, yeah.
on switchbacky first second gear Guanala Pass.
Yeah.
I was just blown away. At
Check out episode
lack of
50 of our show if you want to listen to us drive over that same road.
Yeah.
yeah, great road, but
Yeah.
not for the M5 with the tires it's
With
got
bulb
right
tires.
now. Yeah.
I feel like
It was a hoot though.
I feel
Yeah.
like
It
I
was-
feel like driving like
it was a real hoot.
showing up looking at a car you're going to buy and it's a performance car and mismatched tires is like
Yeah.
number one red flag.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be a basket full of problems.
I guess so.
Like where were you?
yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, so let's talk about tonight.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd we go?
We went to Unser. We went karting.
We did
all
go
three of
karting.
us.
The three of us. So
We
we did an endurance race
Yep.
mhm.
and it was endurance-y.
It was work for 2 out of the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so there's a qualifier.
Yep.
and
A
then
5-minute
a 5-minute qualifier.
race for time session.
A 30-minute heat
Race for
That's
position.
race for position, and it's indoor track. It's about a
Mhm.
30-second lap, so it's busy.
Yeah.
You're working for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for this one over here.
Yeah,
'cause
this
he,
guy.
Yeah, I guess I pulled like Kimi Räikkönen, and I rolled into Dave's place, just kind of took a nap for
Yeah.
30 minutes because just long week drive from Vale, whatever, I don't know. So yeah, just had a quick sleep, went in
Just super relaxed.
super relaxed,
Not a bead of sweat on him after the race.
Yeah.
came
Ye-
out cool as a cucumber, right in the middle of the pack,
Yep.
right where I want to be.
Yeah.
I was like just drenched
Yeah.
in sweat.
I was too.
You guys got out, like, you're all amped up, and
Yeah.
Ian, you had a good battle.
Yeah. And
So close.
Peedah over
So
here.
close.
Peedah over here was like, that was entertaining.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that was lovely.
I'm happy that you're so cool-headed because you were at one point a casualty of my good battle, which
Yeah.
I still feel bad about. But
Oh, that's all good.
Did you hit my Peedah?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put myself someplace where he was gonna hit me. Is what happened.
Yeah.
Walk me through it.
So, well, I was in the lead at
Right.
this point,
Yeah.
and I was coming up to lap Peedah, and
Hey, he lapped me too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh. Did you?
yeah. But first and second lapped.
Okay.
You did 56 laps. You did 54 laps, and I did 57 laps.
You lapped me twice.
Well, 3 times because I did
Yeah.
57 laps.
You're really good, Ian.
Well, thanks.
Isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
He's really freaking good.
Well, not that good because I got second place.
Mm-hmm.
I
God
got
damn
third.
it.
I got third.
I know you did. It was
I
awesome.
Did
You
my
did really good.
fastest
Yeah.
time, a 30.4.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm a real boy.
So anyway, when I hit
if keep
Peedah,
hitting your knee, I'm not used to having.
Oh, it's okay.
someone over there.
As long as it's just your name.
so I had qualified. I qualified second under very mysterious circumstances.
Yeah,
I might
that
add.
was odd because we thought you were first, and then they said someone went out before you when they were lining everybody up,
Yeah.
and they said, "Oh, we checked his times. He was faster."
I'm skeptical, highly skeptical.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
times did they check other than the times they
that
had?
were on the sheet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I ended up qualifying second. I got around him. I thought he had made a mistake, but he thought, I don't know. I feel like he felt bad about
His cart,
something.
his cart was a little wonky because I lapped him a few times. Yeah. The guy that was first.
in the qualifying heat.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Huh.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so he let me by at one point, and then we had a really good battle for like the rest of the race, for like the entirety of the race. We were battling,
Yeah.
and at one point I came up to lap you, and I thought you saw me.
He could have said pass.
Yeah. So for me,
I'm sorry.
I saw-
that's what was
I
happening.
thought you were one of the other folks behind me that I'd
Right.
kind of been
Defending.
defending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your cart was a little janky. You were on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. You can always say that. It makes it feel better.
Sure.
But no. So yeah, I just had looked back and I didn't realize it was you and
Mr.
the other
Red
guy
Gloves.
Yeah.
duking it out in the front. So
Yeah.
had I immediately understood that on that first corner,
Mm-hmm.
I would have swung wide, let you guys continue going
Yeah.
through and duking it out. But
Yeah. So I had someone right
it
behind
took me 2 more corners to realize that after
Oh, okay.
you,
Well, you
you'd
just
hit
like
me
what the
and
fuck?
went by, and then I was like, oh, they're duking it out.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was like right behind me, and I caught you at like kind of a really awkward spot too, which
Mhm.
sucked. And I totally dive bombed you and just showed up on the inside of the corner, and you turned into me, and you ended up spinning because of it. And
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Well,
I
you weren't
didn't-
the only one.
I didn't
During
feel
that
bad
race.
enough to stop or anything. I just
Yeah.
kept going. I tried to wave, be like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hey, I'm the
Peedah.
asshole. Yeah. No.
I did. It's my fault.
It was me.
Yeah.
No,
That was a
no,
total
it's all
dive
good.
bomb.
It's all good.
But yeah, that was fun.
You almost have no choice but to dive bomb into that hairpin, and as
Yeah.
long as you don't, as long as you stop and get to the point where you can turn cleanly around, then
Yeah.
in my opinion, you're not being an
Oh
asshole.
no, I came from a long way back. I came from a really long
you just
way
like
back.
jumped down from the rafters in the
Yeah.
ceiling.
No.
Ian.
Yeah, no, I was way behind. But I thought he was. It looked like he was taking a wider line, so I
Yeah.
thought maybe
Mm-hmm.
he saw me. It was a gamble, and whoops.
So that guy got past me in the moment that I let my guard down and wasn't defending. I knew that somebody was behind me, but I didn't know how close, and I didn't defend my line into the hairpin.
You
Boom.
talking about that last lap?
Yep. Boom. He was there.
All right. So here's what happened. So I was leading until the last lap of the race. So
Yep.
I caught him on probably lap, I don't know, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
maybe
man.
10th lap. I don't know.
Okay.
Wow.
That early.
Yeah.
And I was in the lead that entire time.
Yeah.
But we were
So
like,
that's why you're frustrated.
oh, it was so frustrated. And we were
You
like
held him the whole race.
the whole race.
Yeah.
And then
And we would catch lap traffic, and
Right.
like sometimes I
That's
would
where
co-
it all starts to get mixed up.
right,
Yeah.
and sometimes I would come out better, and sometimes he would come out better. But like I would look at our lap times,
Yep.
at our last laps,
I kept looking at our
Yeah.
lap times.
and they would be
that's
like,
hard to do.
Yeah.
yeah,
You get like a half second to
you got to have like a rhythm to it.
Yeah.
Know where you're gonna
come
look.
around the corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look over the screen.
Yep.
It makes it a
and
lot
then-
easier when you're in first,
Sure.
honestly, because
you
it's
know, yeah.
you just
Yeah.
just look
Top.
for that top left
Yeah.
time.
Brag.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
But anyway, so I
One
kept
day. One day.
I kept
One day,
looking,
Peedah.
and
We'll
we
get
would
there.
be like, I would take like 3/10 out of him one lap, and then he would take 2/10 out of me one lap. And then-
Okay.
so it was just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I had a couple of laps towards the end where I was pulling away from him just like a couple of tenths.
Okay.
So I thought I had a little more time, and then they waved that white flag, and then I caught you and
Yeah.
that huge group.
line. Yes.
It was like 6 cars. It
Yes.
was like 6 carts. And they had gotten the blue flag because they knew, because I think they showed you the blue flag at the flag stand, right?
Yes. So I think you may have been in the lead of that group at
Mhm.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys were both in it.
Yeah. I was at the back. There
Mhm.
was and then there were 2 people and then you.
Yep.
Right? And you were defending, and this was one of those circumstances where the guy that was right behind you did not have the skill set to get around you. He wasn't being aggressive enough.
Yeah.
And so he was holding up everyone.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing to a cart blocking traffic. 2 carts blocking traffic
It's
is a whole thing.
impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad I was leading that parade.
You were. You were. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
now I'm my list of people to blame is growing, so that's good. So,
Yeah, we're both in there. Yeah.
well, no, because I caught you guys right at the braking zone,
Yes.
like right at the
For the hairpin?
for the hairpin.
Yeah.
And I should have just stayed defensive and
Uh-huh.
taken the inside.
Yep.
But I thought it looked like there was kind of an accordion happening at the apex at that right when I got there, and it looked like 2 people were gonna bump and spin.
Let me fill in like just a little bit. So when I was in that line, what I do is through those turns before the hairpin, I pull back and I take a fast line in so that I can get that dive bomb into the hairpin.
Right.
So that's why you were seeing traffic kind of space out a little bit, because
Uh-huh.
I was a little bit slower so I could take that final better line and carry more speed to the hairpin.
Oh, okay. Well, it looked like there was going to be a massive accident, and so that's what I thought was going to happen. But somehow everyone made it through clean, because I think you guys were like too wide going through there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to me.
Yeah, which usually results in a crash.
Hilarity. Yeah.
And so second place dive bombed me. I mean, from like way back, and made it stick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was, and then
he got me the hairpin after that.
and then once he got past you, it was game over, because
Yeah.
the traffic just
Right.
thought like, oh, that was what the blue flag was for.
Yep.
The leader just came through,
Yeah.
and then they continued duking it out.
Closed up on
And
you.
there is,
Yeah.
I couldn't even chase them or mount a defense or anything. So, but
Bummer.
we still finished. Our average times were
Yeah.
300ths off of each other
That's awesome.
for our average lap time. So we were only a few
Wow.
seconds off of each other
Yeah.
on the same lap.
Nice,
So
man.
it was a
Could have been you.
Oh, so
You
pissed.
did great, Ian. You're a great
Yeah.
kart driver.
Well, but not that great, because I finished second instead of first again.
Yeah, well, look at your times.
Yeah.
Look at your times, Ian.
You'll have a hot streak.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Mhm.
Anyway,
You
It'll happen.
think about the amount of work that you have to do to get yourself to consistently finish second, Ian.
yeah. Well,
How
that's
many
fine.
races have you finished second? Endurance races.
A few.
Yeah.
It's been a
Ian?
few. Yeah.
Oh no. You finished second.
Yeah. It's not 1st
It is not first, but god damn it, it's really good.
Yeah. Anyway, this is about Peedah. Let's let's moving on.
See the pivot? See the pivot?
Yep.
Yeah.
Seamless.
Oh yeah, I have pictures to show from the. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Here, I'm gonna do some
Oh, yeah.
tab maintenance here.
Some tabby cat.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So
oh
here you go.
yeah.
So
Explain this.
this
one.
was
This
like
is the
A
Viggen.
few days
It's
before.
not on the thing.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
There we go.
Because so many people are watching.
Yes.
Everyone has turned off as soon as we started talking about my karting ability. And they just
Sure,
like, this
sure.
Is bullshit.
Or the Viggen.
Yeah.
No, so here's a picture of the Viggen in my folks' garage a few days before. I was probably a week before we left for Colorado with it.
Okay.
And this is what entails, for a radiator replacement.
Yeah.
In a Viggen.
Yeah. Yeah. This is service
or in a sub.
position. Yeah.
You have to drop it out the bottom.
Yep.
Kind of jimmy the
Yeah.
AC condenser out of the way.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a little sketchy.
Yeah,
You
it
do
is.
that on Dusty Rusty?
I pulled a radiator from a junkyard car,
Yeah.
and the only way you can pull a radiator on one of those is to not give a shit about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But, I mean,
Yeah.
for this, it's like I wanted the AC.
Right.
Sorry, the AC still worked. And then, so it was just super slow, super careful.
Yeah.
And then, as it always happens, there was one O-ring that got sliced in one of the metal hose connections when I put it all
Sure.
back together, but just was able to switch that back out and
Nice.
get it all sealed up a week before moving out here. But I just wanted to take care of that before it went on me in a place where I did not have a garage to work on and do that, because that's a pretty nasty
That's getting
pretty
in there,
nasty
man.
one
Yeah.
just for a radiator.
Yep. The thing that impresses me about the Saab, just like that era of 9.3s, is how easy the front end comes off and goes back together.
Yeah.
It's reliable. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
when you're feeling like I don't know if this is gonna snap back into place. Like it's Lego pieces at that point, like Duplo blocks. Yeah.
Not like my car.
No, not like your car that you put in service position.
It's terrible. There's so many like plastic clips and
That
shit.
M3 is really bad with that.
I bet.
The door panels in that thing.
Oh, really?
Uh.
I haven't had to have my door panels out. I had someone else do it.
Nice.
Because I was like, because I kept looking at it. Everyone was like, in the forums was just like, it's not
It's
worth
just
it.
so
Really?
so
For a
s-
door panel?
Yeah. To do well, because it was the remember when my fuel pump, I was trying to figure out what was going
Do
on
you
with the
know
fuel
about
pump.
this stuff in a Volkswagen? How the
No.
fuel pump is hooked to the driver's door?
So when you
To what with the driver's door?
To prime the fuel pump
To
when you
prime the
open the
fuel
driver's
pump.
door.
it runs,
Whoa.
so when it detects that the door is open,
That makes sense, but that's silly.
it's super silly. Like, why wouldn't you
Like,
do it on the key?
I see the intention,
Right.
but
A good idea.
Right.
ooh,
So
the
yeah.
execution, not
so
there.
the door, so what happened was the door sensor went out, and so it
Mhm.
wasn't priming the fuel pump, and I thought that was what was causing it to
so
not
that just
start.
strands you.
No.
It
No.
just it makes it a
doesn't
slow
prime.
You have
start.
to crank. a
Right.
bunch. Yeah.
That did he have to crank it a couple times when you got in?
He did.
There you go.
That's yeah.
It's
a whole
not a ton.
It's a whole saga.
Right.
Anyway, so that's on a cold start. That's what you're supposed to do. It's supposed to detect the door is open, and then the door thing, also causes other issues like lighting and all that sort of stuff, right?
But what if you were like, oh, I left this Sir Mix-a-Lot CD in my car. I'm going to open the door. Your fuel pump's primed. You've gotten your CD in.
There's a timer or something on it. I don't because of course
there's more components to it.
I don't know
than
what
just
it's
that.
based off of, but it doesn't do it every
It's
time.
got like an algorithm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But anyway, so the door sensor is not in the door jamb like you would
Mhm.
assume that it would be. It's in,
In the door?
door hinge assembly
What?
or the door latch assembly. And it's just one piece.
Yeah, and isn't there just
And it's, like,
one
buried-
plastic
Yeah.
Little
stick,
plunger.
basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what the door sensor is based off of. So basically they're like, by the time you go to a junkyard and find one that actually works,
Yeah, that's not broken.
or even if you buy it new,
Yeah.
like it's buried in the door,
Yeah.
so it's like 8 hours. You're
Naturally.
gonna spend 8 hours on it, or you could give someone $200 to do it.
yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah. No, I feel your pain.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That
Mhm.
car's dumb. But anyway, so it's still just a slow start because the check valve is broken in the fuel pump, so
Yeah.
it doesn't hold pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fuel pump that I changed
Mhm.
in a surprise to no one.
Yeah, fuel pump in the
Ye-
Viggen.
Yep.
I replaced that. You got to cut through the
Cut through the rear
rear
sheet
seat.
metal.
Yeah.
You can do it one of two ways. Yep. And remember when I test drove it, I asked you if you had cut through the floor to replace
Yes.
the fuel pump.
Which I
You-
did.
You can either drop the fuel pump or the fuel tank,
Mhm.
and of course it's going to happen just after you fill it up with 16 gallons of fuel, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you can cut a hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that.
Yep.
And then I, got in there, replaced the fuel pump, went pretty well. Drove the car for 6 months, and then I was coming back from Silverton. I was
Okay.
like on my way back towards Grand Junction.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there I was going to be another 2 hours to get home.
Okay.
It just comes around a corner, dies. And I'm like, all right, let me swap the DIC out with the
Right.
one that I have in my trunk. 'cause
Right.
That's
Saab rescue kit.
a Saab
Saab
93
rescue-
thing. Yep. That doesn't work. I'm poking around. I can't figure out what's going on. I have to get it towed to a buddy's grandparents' house that lived near there. So
See, Peedah has this network
I have a network.
of garages and individuals. He's
for-
got this
Mhm.
support system. This is the extended family that
Yeah,
I'm now a part of.
You have to if you're an enthusiast. I feel
Yeah.
like you have to
Yeah.
have backups.
So yeah, anyways, I tow it over there, and then I go down the next 2 weekends trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And can't get the car started. I'm like crank position sensor, trying to
Sure.
switch that out, and like of course that stripped and broke.
Yep.
And then I eventually tow it home to Vale to continue
Right.
the
Knuckle busting on
diagnosing
it.
and figuring it out. But
Yeah.
one of the things I had done down there those first few weekends was, I changed the fuel filter, disconnected the fuel lines, and I did not have a fuel pressure gauge to connect to the rail,
Okay.
which I learned the lesson the hard way. I should have gone and bought one.
Okay.
But when I had disconnected it at the filter, I could turn the key, hear the pump go, and prime, and it would squirt out into the catch pan that I put underneath with the lines disconnected. So I was
Okay.
like, oh yeah, it's not the fuel pump, right?
Right.
Fuel pump's working, squirting into the pan.
Right.
And then the car sits for a few months when I get it back, because I just can't figure it out.
Right.
And I end up, all right, I'm going to dig into the fuel pump again.
Right.
Dig back in there, and one little hose had popped off of a nipple on one of the nipples of the fuel pump.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. And I had a fuel pressure gauge,
Right.
and I wasn't getting the right pressure.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. And so I put that all back together.
Yeah.
Put it on super hard, the hose clamp,
Right. Right.
which I thought I had before, but I didn't. And then the car doesn't fire up. And I'm like, now what?
Okay.
I was 100% convinced, oh, it's going to fire right up.
Right. Right.
Because it was just
the
shooting.
hubris.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the broken, stripped out crank position sensor bolt, I had put the new one in just a tenth of a turn, maybe, not
Okay.
like in the exact orientation.
Okay.
Just a hair, twisted counterclockwise, I think.
Sure.
And my buddy was like, "Oh, it's just magnetic. It just senses the crank revolution. That's fine."
Right.
And it ended up being that. That was the problem. Because now
Weird.
the crank position sensor on that has to be mounted and dead set exactly where it was from the factory. If it's
Okay.
turned a tiny bit, it wouldn't run. I popped the old one in that had broken
Yeah.
and fit right back into the right orientation, and
Yeah.
it fired up.
So when I have to
Wow.
replace the crank
So
position sensor.
I replaced the crank position sensor with a new one.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I had to go buy a right angle little Bosch
Oh,
drill
yeah.
to
Yep.
drill and
Yeah, to get the stud.
retap
Yep.
and
Oh.
get it right. And yeah, that was
So if I'm in the
Fuel
Saab
pump.
and I see that there's a different bolt than what I'm expecting on something, I'm gonna know why. Like that you had to
For that.
retap threads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
How many exhaust studs did you have sheared? Have you ever sheared any of those?
Like at the downpipe.
Just right off the exhaust manifold.
Um,
Dusty Rusty would shear them like I changed socks.
None. So I guess when I did the GS downpipe,
Uh-huh.
those 3 studs, I sheared one of them off.
The way that downpipe is made, it's impossible to tighten the bolts.
Oh, it's like not even a quarter turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to go. it takes forever.
with a box wrench, you're doing like 5 degrees at a time.
Oh, that's miserable.
But
yeah,
what
yeah.
you should do if you have to do it, which you probably will,
Uh-huh.
to get your emissions, before you spin them off, you should cut them down because they're
yeah.
way longer.
They're
than
way
they
longer
need to
than
be.
yeah.
And I
Yep.
never did that, and I probably pulled that thing on and off 3 or 4 times.
Right.
And every time I was like, I should cut these down, but
Okay, I'll do that.
yeah,
I'll
that'd be a
Dremel 'em.
sweet upgrade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 20 horsepower.
Super practical upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I had I think one of those break, and then
Okay.
I was able to dry ice that and spray it, and then it came out
Nice.
with vice grips. Luckily,
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
So anyway,
Anywho,
getting back to karting. Here's us on the podium. And
we don't know who that other person is.
the
by
guy
way.
in the
Yeah.
red shirt works for Milwaukee Tools. He just hopped up there. Yeah. So yeah, and there's the guy that passed Ian, his nemesis for
with
life
with
now.
a Bia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Oh.
Why? What is that zoom?
This Peedah took the pictures. Yeah. Oh, that's just how good the pictures are. There's our
I look very tubby in that.
there's our website picture, Ian.
No.
There's you and me.
It's a terrible picture.
Look at that. Look at that, Ian. Aw.
It's a bad picture.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Yeah. Here's the proper one.
Ian with his eyes closed.
Yep.
Way to go, me. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Yep. So when we were leaving the karting facility,
Mm-hmm.
I was behind a car at a stoplight. I'm trying to figure out if I tell you the license plate first and you guess the car,
Mm-hmm.
or if I give you the car and you guess the license plate.
I feel like the last one sounds way harder.
Okay. All right. So I give you the license plate and you guess the car.
Sounds great.
Okay. The license plate said engineer.
Oh.
Engineer.
Oh.
Wow.
Their license plate said engineer.
All right. What's your guess?
He works on trains.
Wait, but what's your guess for the car that it
The
was
car
attached to?
would be.
Who's dorky enough
Oh God.
to put an engineer license plate on a car?
Yeah. What car would that be?
I have a guess.
That could be so many cars.
Volvo S80.
That's a good guess, but it's
Yeah.
not that. I think
Okay.
that shows that the person has taste.
Uh,
A person that has an engineer license plate clearly has no taste.
Ford Taurus sedan
No.
or Ford Fusion, I guess would be.
That's
Newer.
getting towards it.
That's what I would.
Ladies
Is it
and
an
gentlemen-
Acura?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's
What
an
is that
Acura
blurry
R.
picture?
Here, this is the better one.
Oh.
Engineer.
Engineer. Yep.
You can tell they're a true engineer too because they have little regard for spelling
Yeah, exactly.
or
Yeah.
the English language.
I just assumed that
They
they
made it fit.
they hand wrote the form and their handwriting was just garbage. Yeah.
Engineer.
Engineer. Yep.
That's what that
Engeiner.
says.
Yep.
Engeiner.
Engeiner.
That is what it says, yeah.
Yeah.
Engeiner.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. So
People
there
and
you
their
go.
license plates.
Right.
Yep.
So Acura engineer. Yeah.
All right, let's bring it back around to again whatever this is because I want to know.
Oh shoot! I was showing 2 cams on the browser, not Peedah.
Oh.
Sorry about that, Peedah.
Oh, that's all good.
So
I don't care.
so Dave insists that owning a Saab requires you to develop all of these crazy Craigslist relationships.
Yeah.
I think
how
that's just Dave.
Okay, because I was going to ask, like, in your years of Viggen ownership,
Don't
how
put
many?
this all back on me because you.
Siri, take Dave's camera off. Mute Dave's microphone. Siri. We're just talking you and me now.
I control the
cool.
board. I'll just give you a little bit of that.
Oh. Okay.
I like how you finally just want to talk to me now.
Yeah.
It used to just be, I'm the creepy plotting Craigslist guy
Right.
that's unnamed that you don't know.
Right. That's a bit, but now we're getting down to brass tacks.
Sure. But now Dave's out of the picture.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a hot 5 here.
Yeah.
Yep.
In your
We'll straighten it
years
out.
of Saab ownership, how many other Saab owners would you say you dealt with? And of those, how many did you develop, let's say, lifelong friendships with?
I would say I dealt with one other who had
Only one other.
who's like a friend of mine,
Okay.
who had a 900S. that
Oh, nice.
He didn't have it for very long. I think I might have told you the story about him getting
You're talking to Ian now. I'm not
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that didn't last very long. Anyways, there's a story about him getting pulled over on the highway for going triple-digit speeds, and then he, I don't think they got him on the radar, but it
was obvious.
It was obvious, and they set out a spike strip for him, and he had already slowed down and just pulled over and kind of played dumb. And then when he went to contest it, he brought all this information about the gearing and the power of the car and how it wasn't possible for him to do the speed that the cop was claiming he was doing.
But it was heavily modified, I'm guessing.
And that the cop was just embellishing all of this, and that it should be thrown out. And the cop was just sitting there getting red in the courtroom, I guess. And his whole ticket got waived.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was his car modified?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then he said he sold it shortly thereafter. And
Yeah, I bet.
he was like, "Oh, it's just gonna blow up."
He's
like, "It's gonna blow up. I need to sell it."
Yeah,
to hide the evidence.
but just the reset karma.
True story.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not joking. Yeah.
That's
He's
insane.
like Supermana, Sam.
Was that in Maine?
That was in Maine.
He
yeah.
did that.
Yep, on I-95.
Wow.
Yep.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was it a small enough? I don't know where. Were you from Portland or was it?
So the pullover was probably like an hour north. It was like near Augusta or something like that.
Oh, I mean, so there's
Not
like
that
4
anyone
people
knows
in
where
that
it is.
town, right?
No, that's the state capital.
No, I know.
It's
I
not
know,
very
I know.
big, but yeah, it's quiet highways. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's got a whole slew of
Okay, but
Really good stories.
randos like trading
that's the-
parts and stuff like that.
none. Sorry, Dave.
Interesting. Interesting.
I mean,
Peter's a
to
nice guy.
to be fair, Maine is pretty spread out.
Right.
We don't have the Craigslist inventory
Density. Yeah.
that Denver area does.
Isn't it insane?
I always think
And
about though that
all of a sudden I'm like, I get out here, I'm flipping pilots and going to junkyards and
Yeah.
dealing with you and
Sorry.
stuff. So yeah. So yeah, it's I guess it's very different in that sense. It's not easy to, those people are going to be farther out from you in Maine.
And your car's broken down, you can't get to them anyway.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
it's just
that-
just these like lighthouse cries for help from far. Like you just see like
but we're from
this-
literal lighthouses.
yeah, just the flashlights.
3
flashing.
flashes means
Yeah, yeah. DIC.
send them,
yeah,
send help.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I've made sob friends on Craigslist. Peeta's
Yeah.
one of them.
I know. There's been so many text friends though that you don't even know about. It's crazy.
Well,
My favorite one is the guy who broke down in front of your house.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that's a
fantastic.
funny story.
The guy just
Yeah.
the coolant just spilling out. Yeah. You could not have picked a better place to break down.
Yeah.
Period.
You're like, oh, been through this, got it.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
That-
really does
that
affect.
rarely happens.
It affects
Right.
the
if
haggling.
ever.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, yeah, right. He was buying parts from me. Yeah, so like, no, I'm not cutting you a deal now.
Yeah,
If
if
anything, you owe me.
$25, please.
Yeah, you owe me more money.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I've met some great people. Misery loves company with sob owners.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we're an
Look
odd
at us
bunch.
all down here.
We're an odd bunch. You own a sob too. Like you're
yeah,
not a weirdo.
Talk about the Turbo X. I've always thought that would be a really neat car to own.
Again, the idea of it
The idea of it's amazing.
is really great
V6
because on
turbo.
paper,
It looks awesome.
it is a beautiful
It's a
car.
gorgeous
What's the
car.
deal with the all-wheel drive that it has? That's pretty unique, right?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Same as his R32.
So it's a
Haldex.
Haldex. So
Yeah.
the R32 has a Gen 1 Haldex.
Uh-huh.
This is a Gen 4 Haldex, and it also has.
That photo's
Please
ridiculous.
It also has an electronic limited slip diff in the back. So this was
Is
a
that
GM
garbage?
design. It's finicky. It's
Okay.
fragile. Basically, is the problem. So
Oh, the wagon.
yeah, I have the
Yeah,
wagon.
he has a wagon
You got the wagon?
Mhm.
with
Oh,
an
cool.
automatic transmission though.
Unfortunately,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
That's too
the
bad.
wagons with the manual are the unicorns. That's what you want.
Did they make those
Yes.
in the States? Just very few of them?
Yep, very few of them.
Yeah.
That was what I wanted to buy, and I actually looked at one
Yeah.
and really wanted it.
Cool.
And my wife was
Yeah,
like,
I
"No."
love a sports wagon. Sports
Yeah.
wagons are great.
They're super cool. The problem is that people didn't change because Saab did this weird thing that a lot of car makers do.
Really?
I know, where they say like everything is a life, like there's no
It's like a lifetime fluid,
it's a lifetime fluid,
which is insane.
in the rear diff, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's what they said about the transmission fluid in the Viggen.
Right.
yeah,
Lifetime.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
No, it's not.
Right.
Well, yeah.
It's metal on metal, so no.
Right.
Yeah, I tuned that twice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's the same thing. So basically, the hull deck system is it's all hydraulic, right?
Mhm.
It's clutch packs that are hydraulically run, and then
Okay.
the limited slip diff is also like another pump and hydraulic system and clutch plates
On its own, yeah.
on its own for the side to side, and it's problematic. So
Yeah.
like mine is broken right now, but it's like intermittently broken for some reason. So the big thing
Okay.
that happens is like the fluid level drops,
Uh-huh.
and then it just detects
Is
low
it
fluid
leaking?
level, and then it says no. No, it doesn't leak. It's just it's a pain to get it. The way that the where the filler neck is, it's like almost impossible to get fluid into it. It's like a difficult thing, and
That's
like
annoying.
yeah, like the Facebook groups and the forums are filled with recommendations on how to get it topped off and whatever. It's a pain in the ass.
Mm.
And then that's before we get to the cooling issues, because there are a lot of cooling problems with that car.
Mhm.
Like a weird head gasket issue. The coolant expansion tank is plastic and it breaks.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, the M5's kind of got some funky cooling
Oh, really?
stuff. Yeah, that I really chased
Yeah,
and just replaced the radiator with a bigger one, and then did an electric fan, got rid of the mechanical fan.
that stuff is
and-
maddening. It's maddening.
yeah.
And yeah, just like little gremlins and like little like GME cheap out stuff.
Yeah.
In
Logo on the front grill.
Yeah, just stuff that just like falls off. You know, like
Like literally, the logo has
Tesla
fallen
Model
off.
3 fall off.
yeah, pretty much. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like glue failing,
Yeah.
and it's just so like it's impossible to keep up with.
Right, because I
Yeah.
sent you that picture of the Saab 92X,
Mm-hmm.
right, in the parking
the
lot.
Subaru.
Yeah, the Subaru, and the logos had all fallen off the back, and you could see the glue. And I was like, "What is it with the glue from the year of your car?"
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah,
very frustrating.
Th-
But
they-
it's so maddening because it's so rare.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it could be so good.
I've never seen a wagon form of the Turbo X in person.
Yeah, I mean, because there's like
Yeah.
200 of them.
There's
country.
one.
200?
Yeah,
How many were manuals?
like 60 or something like that.
Whoa.
There's
Right?
like it's
Good luck
incredibly
finding
rare.
that.
More rare
Yeah.
than the Viggen.
Yeah.
And,
Sure.
But you know what?
Yeah.
They're pretty cheap now because they're impossible to find.
Yeah, and they're impossible to service.
They're getting it's expensive
Yeah.
to service. Oh, the other thing's coil packs.
Oh,
I go
yeah.
through coil packs.
Still?
Insane.
They didn't sort that out by then?
Oh man, no, I go through coil packs like crazy, and the rears are like impossible to get to.
Yeah.
So
Transverse V6.
someone else
Mm.
does those,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
then I just whenever one goes out, I just have them replace the ones in the back,
Yeah.
and then give me the ones that are still good,
Yeah.
and then I replace the ones in the front as they fail.
Yeah.
And I'm down to my last one from the last time I did that.
How many coil packs do you think you've gone through total since you've owned the car?
I've owned the car since April 2014.
Uh-huh.
I've gone through, I'm gonna say 10,
Jeez.
Wow.
maybe 8, but somewhere in that range.
How much mileage are you putting on it?
Not much.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bought it with 85,000 miles,
Yeah.
and it's up to 110.
Jesus.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's a nightmare.
That's not sustainable.
No, it's frustrating.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're not cheap. The coil packs. They're
Yeah.
like $100 a piece.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I have $800 in coil packs in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good-looking car, though, man.
It
It's
is.
cool.
That
It's super cool.
that last 9.3 wagon was
Yeah.
awesome, man.
And
Yeah.
it's just and especially in that with that body kit on it and everything.
Yeah.
it does
It
look.
just adds that extra to it,
Yeah.
right?
It's like a wagon, but kind of sinister looking.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the back end looks amazing. Those taillights are great.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, I'm so afraid
Mhm.
one of those are gonna go out. I'm
Oh,
so afraid
yeah,
because it's on an LED board, and
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
just like a whole assembly. So there's no
Mhm.
like replacing anything.
Yep.
I always like the tailpipes on the Turbo X.
Oh, they
Yeah.
sag. That's the
Yeah.
other thing that's fun. They all
They
sag
sag.
a little bit, especially now.
Yeah.
They're all.
You
they all
replaced
sag.
the mounts?
I haven't. No.
Well,
There's so
there
many.
you go.
The list of things on that car that I need to do. I had a fuel pump one out last year, and that's a job where you have to drop the diff
Drop the diff and the tank.
and the tank and the exhaust.
That's the whole
So-
rear end.
I don't know. I
So
don't.
down.
someone else did
I
that.
just did that.
I don't have a garage, so
Yeah, on the M3 to like weld some reinforcement for the R tabs.
Oh wow,
Had to drop the gas tank, the whole rear end,
it's a
the
pain
whole
in the ass.
suspension.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm ever gonna own an all-wheel drive car.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't drop everything
Yeah.
on the rear end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at some point some of those jobs are just like it's better just to pay someone to do it.
Right.
Like I did the biggest job I ever did that was like mechanical have to do it sort of thing was the alternator in my R32, and it was dumb of me to do it. Like I had a former mechanic friend help me with it, and it was still like it was a solid 12 hours.
Wow.
And just a pain.
That's
in the ass.
insane.
The Viggens is bad. It's like tied into the drive shaft.
Yep.
Did that for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Cool.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Did that help it pass emissions or?
No.
The ultimate.
No, I passed emissions every year in Vail.
You don't have emissions in Vail.
Exactly.
Don't put this on me, Peedah.
That's your problem. Get out of the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well,
I'm bummed that that's happening.
I appreciate it, but I'm persistent. I'll get it licked.
I'm confident it will once you pass it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'll get on the road and run well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Ian and I rode dirty in it a little while ago.
Nice.
Yep.
It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Riding dirty.
What else do we have to do here, Ian? I think we should wrap it up.
I think we should wrap it
We've
up.
taken enough of Peetah's Craigslist murdering time away from him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
agree. We should wrap
So
it up.
speaking of wagons, quickly,
Mhm.
what would you guys get if you could get one car, regardless of the price, but just one?
Oh, if it's a wagon.
Yeah, because for me,
a wagon,
I would go no, not necessarily a wagon. I'm just saying this because I think the
the one car garage.
63 AMG wagon, the new one, like
Yeah.
that's what I would go with if I
Yeah,
Yeah.
had like one lottery ticket car to go for. I
Yeah.
would probably do that.
Yeah.
yeah. As a one car garage car, that's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
That M5 we drove,
Yeah.
that would be on the list.
That
Yeah.
was so insane,
It was
Peedah.
absurd.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. We've talked about it too much on the show already. But or I mean, if you could get anything from anywhere, you could go RS6 too.
Yeah,
But one of
those
those
are cool.
for sure.
Right.
Right. A super fast wagon. And that's the idea I had with the Turbo X was like,
Sure.
I'm going to get this fast wagon.
You didn't want to go V70R?
So my parents had a V70R, and that was a
Ah.
real maintenance nightmare.
Really?
Head
with
gaskets.
head gaskets
Yeah.
and all that sort of
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
And I
Yeah.
didn't want to mess with that.
Yep.
Huh.
And these, by comparison, were more reliable,
Allegedly.
allegedly. And so the other things on the list were like Audi
There's
S4.
Yeah, there's very few. That's
But-
small.
Yeah. Well, this is not that much bigger.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger than the S4, but not much.
Yeah.
And it's at least on the inside it is. And
Yeah.
then the S4 has its own.
Right.
Either if you go 2.7 or the V8,
Yeah, the V8 has
the 4.2.
the timing chain tensioner issue. That's
Yeah.
It's backwards.
and
yeah.
engine overhaul.
Yep.
Like you have to haul the engine out to get to or
Yep.
something.
$10,000 job
Yeah.
just to do
Mhm.
$120.
So I'd kind of always wanted one of those,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Have you ever driven one of those 4.2 liter S4s?
not the S4. But I've driven like an A6, and then I drove an S5 that was manual
Oh, okay.
with the 4.2.
Okay.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
It's a really cool engine. Like it builds speed so like
So
slowly
smooth
and
so-
sneakily.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, my buddy's dad had an RS5,
Okay.
which was still just naturally aspirated V8. I drove that, and it wasn't even like dramatic
Right.
in its acceleration. It was just wow, we're hauling.
Yep.
It's
so-
all of a
so
sudden
smooth.
stop signs there.
So
Yep.
smooth about it.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
If I was picking one, I might just do something bonkers like a CTSV wagon with a manual.
Yeah.
Like it's an
Yeah.
LS engine,
Yeah.
Like-
Mm-hmm.
right? Big ass wagon. I'd throw like a giant Julie roof box on it.
I'd want something 4-wheel drive. And
Yeah.
both
Yep.
the M
M5.
and the E63 are now
Right.
all-wheel drive.
Selectively all-wheel drive.
Right. The
Yeah.
drift mode thing is like
Cool.
so awesome.
That is
we, a fellow journalist, kicked the rear end out on it when it was in all-wheel drive mode.
Yep.
Yeah.
We won't say any names about who
Your
that
secret
was.
is safe with us.
For now.
For
No,
now.
it isn't.
Yeah.
I won't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was terrifying, though.
Yeah.
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 I bet that was a crazy car to drive.
It was fun. We should wrap it up. This has
Okay.
gone very long.
Thank you, Peedah,
Hey, no.
for coming on the show,
thank
selling
you
me
guys.
a Viggen.
Yeah.
And now you have to be my friend. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I also really
I'll
appreciate.
consider it. No, thanks a lot. It's great chatting with you guys, listening to your shenanigans.
Well, the thing that
Since we met, I listened to the podcast a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yep.
you really do not have to do that.
Now you
It's
have
not recommended.
7 listeners.
Oh, thank you. Oh, we got
6.
jokes now.
Yeah.
The thing that I most appreciate about, again, whatever this is that
Yeah.
we're now getting to the point where evidence is starting to stack up, where Dave has kept saying, I haven't met a crazy Craigslist person yet.
Yeah.
And I think now the evidence is pointing to Dave
Dave
is
is
the
the crazy
crazy
one.
Craigslist
Yeah.
person.
Uh-huh.
He's the one that people worry about. Like, oh, this guy won't leave me alone. He's inviting me on his podcast.
Yeah.
He says he can sleep in my guest room.
It's,
Yeah. I'm
that's-
probably driving home right after this. Yeah.
So
No,
I think that's a good conclusion on which to end.
Yeah. No, and I guess one more thing I would want to say is it's great getting into car things more with like-minded people.
Yeah,
That's always fun.
For sure.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
I
we're-
feel like I'm down there in the garage rowing my own boat most nights.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I don't know why I do
Right.
some of the car work I do, but
First time anyone said rowing my own boat on this show.
yeah,
Yeah.
rowing your dinghy.
An hour and a half in, and the real Maynard comes out.
Yeah, it's time. It's probably time, man.
Yes.
What should people do if they liked whatever, again, this is?
People should look me up on Craigslist and buy sound parts from me. And then we'll be lifelong friends. And then they should subscribe to us on YouTube. They should definitely do that. iTunes for sure. They should send us emails with FMK cars. They should call our hotline if you see an engineer license plate. And our hotline is
The hotline.
the hotline 720-515-1391. I think I was the most recent caller. Let's shake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I call the hotline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just so I don't forget for later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a goldfish up here, Peedah.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yep. So those are all the things they should do. Right,
Okay.
Ian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to this, and we love you. Goodbye.